"I need a new car. Can you cosign?" my sister texted. I answered, "Keep dreaming." A few minutes later, my dad replied in big, bold letters, "Refuse and you're cut off from family events." That night, I called the bank and canceled their shared credit line. By 7:30 a.m., 36 missed calls piled up. It was a boring Thursday, nothing special about it. I was sitting at my desk going through invoices when my phone buzzed. One of those long, self-important vibrations that usually meant trouble. It was a message from my sister. "I need a new car. You'll cosign." No greeting, no explanation, not even a question mark, just a demand like I owed her something. For context, I'm Lucas, 32, work in logistics, I own my house, I pay my bills on time, and I've worked for every single thing I have. My sister, Hannah, is 28, still lives with my parents on and off, has had 6 jobs in 3 years, and burns through money like it's nothing. But because she's loud, dramatic, and good at crying in public, she's always been treated like the victim. Always. I stared at her message. I actually laughed. Then I replied, "Dream on." I didn't expect a reply from her. I expected her to go running to my parents, though. Right on 10 kale minutes later, I got a message from my dad. All caps. "Refuse, and you're cut off from family events." That was it. No, "Can we talk?" No, "Let's figure this out." Just an ultimatum. Now, for most people, that kind of text might sting. For me, it was the final push I didn't even know I was waiting for. I stood up, walked straight to the kitchen, poured myself some coffee, and called the bank. There was a shared credit line I had with my parents, something I'd reluctantly agreed to open a couple years back during a guilt-heavy Thanksgiving dinner where everyone made it sound like I was the stable one and should be helping out more. My sister had already maxed it once, bought herself a high-end espresso machine and a $1,200 coat for job interviews. The bank said I could shut it down immediately. I didn't even blink. I signed the forms digitally, confirmed the closure, and had them send the termination notice to my email. Next morning, I woke up to 36 missed calls. 12 from Hannah, 9 from my dad, 8 from my mom. The rest were various cousins and one aunt who apparently just wanted to check in. I didn't answer any of them. I just let it all ring out. But here's what none of them wanted to admit. This wasn't about a car. This was about control. For years, I'd been treated like a resource. The responsible one, the calm one, the one who wouldn't fight back. They thought I'd cave, like always. But not this time. You want history? Let's go back. 3 years ago, Hannah punctured 2 of my tires because I refused to let her borrow my car to drive to some music festival. She didn't even deny it. She posted a photo of my flat tires on her Instagram story with laughing emojis. My parents told me I was overreacting when I demanded they make her pay for the damage. They didn't even make her apologize. But the breaking point was last Christmas. We were having dinner at my parents' place. They had begged me to come after I initially said no, and midway through dessert, Hannah started one of her meltdowns. Something stupid about how I never support her dreams. She started screaming. I told her to calm down. She threw her drink at me. I stood up, walked into the kitchen, grabbed the scissors off the counter, came back, and cut off a chunk of her hair. The hair she obsessed over for years. Everyone froze. She screamed like someone had shot her. My mom cried. My dad stood there silent. And me? I was calm for the first time in years. They kicked me out, told me I had gone too far, after inviting me, after she threw wine in my face. But I was the one who went too far. Fast forward to now. She wrecked the car I gave her, one of my 2 cars. I gave her the older one because she was unemployed and my parents were struggling. And not a single thank you. Just complaints about the AC and Bluetooth. Then she wrecked it because she was texting while driving, and instead of owning it, she blamed the brakes. Now, she wants me to co-sign for a brand new car, and when I say no, I get threatened. Nah, that was the last time they got to pull that move, because what they didn't know was I wasn't just saying no. I was gearing up for a long, deliberate revenge. Not petty revenge, smart revenge. Starting with cutting the credit line. Then came the next move, and they never saw it coming. The silence after I killed the credit line didn't last long. By noon that day, the group chats were exploding. My mom sent a message in the family thread. "Lucas, we need to talk ASAP. This isn't like you." I left the chat. Not left the conversation, left the chat entirely. Removed myself. That afternoon, I called a toy company and asked them to pick up the 2014 Camry I'd signed over to Hannah. Well, sort of signed over. I never transferred the title officially. That was my safety net. I paid for that car, insured it under my name, and she was just borrowing it until she got back on her feet. Except she'd been getting back on her feet for 18 months. They towed it from the front of my parents' house. She had parked it there while pretending she was saving up for a down payment on something better. I guess better now meant convincing me to buy her a Tesla. She called me the moment she saw the empty driveway. I didn't answer. Instead, I sent her a photo of the car back in my garage. Then I turned off my phone for the rest of the day. That night, my cousin Jake texted me from his work number. He's one of the few in the family who sees things for what they are. "She's been flipping out all day. Screamed at your mom? Your dad tried to call me to talk some sense into you." I told him maybe it's time someone put Hannah in her place. That was the first time in years I felt like someone in the family finally got it. The next morning, I drove to work and found a post-it that stuck to my windshield. Petty. Grow up. Handwriting I'd recognize anywhere. Hannah's. Which was ironic considering this was the same person who once poured soda all over my laundry just because I snapped at her for stealing my laptop charger. I knew what was coming. The manipulation phase. When the tantrums failed and the threats didn't land, she always pulled the sympathy card. Sure enough, 2 days later, my mom called. I picked up this time, mostly out of curiosity. She told me Hannah was having a breakdown and that I needed to be the bigger person. That I asked if she remembered the tire incident, the hair, the dinner Hannah begged me to attend only to throw me out halfway through. Mom went silent, then finally said something I'll never forget. "Well, you know how she is, but she's family." I replied calmly, "So am I." And then I hung up.
That Sunday, one of our younger cousins had a birthday party. I wasn't invited. Jake texted me a photo from it. Hannah was there telling everyone I had stolen her car, conveniently leaving out the fact that I'd been the one paying for it. Insurance, maintenance, registration, everything. And that months earlier, I'd warned her that if she didn't start contributing, even just gas, I was taking it back. That I wasn't shocked. What did surprise me was that Aunt Valerie called her out in front of everyone. "Why don't you have your own car by now?" Apparently, the look on Hannah's face could have cracked concrete. The family was starting to split. Lines were being drawn, and I wasn't finished. Not even close. If they wanted to play dirty, I was ready to show just how deep I could dig. About a week after I took back the Camry, everything went quiet. Too quiet. No texts, no voicemails, not even one of her passive-aggressive memes forwarded through Mom's Facebook. And in our family, silence never meant peace. It meant someone was scheming. Jake gave me the heads up. Hannah was spreading a new story that I had emotionally abused her for years, that I had always acted like I was better than everyone else. She was rewriting our history like it was some bad Lifetime movie. In her version, she was the poor black sheep always trying to please a brother who never supported her. Funny, because I still had the receipts from when I paid off her credit card debt just so she wouldn't tank our parents' credit after she opened an account in Dad's name. But I knew what she was doing. She was building a narrative, trying to guilt the family into isolating me. What she didn't know was that some of them were already reaching out to me, saying they were sick of her too. Uncle Dennis even called one night, half whispering from his garage like he was running a drug deal. She's gotten worse, man. Your dad tried to bring up the car thing, and she started crying before he even finished his sentence. You did what had to be done. That's when I decided to strike deeper, to remind her and everyone else what happens when you push someone who's already got nothing left to lose. I made a call to a local auto auction I had connections with. The Camry went up for sale and was gone in 2 days. Cash, clean. No paper trail. No way Hannah would ever see it again. I even sent her a text with a confirmation photo of the car being loaded onto a truck. Sold. Don't worry, you won't have to be embarrassed by my car anymore. No reply. 3 days later, Jake sent me a screenshot from Hannah's Instagram story. A throwback photo. Her in high school, tossing her long chestnut hair dramatically at the beach. Caption, "It always grows back stronger, just like me." So now we were dredging that up, the infamous haircut. They never let it go. Not Hannah, not my parents, not even my grandma. The family loved pretending it came out of nowhere, like I just lost my mind and went full Edward Scissorhands in the middle of dinner. What they conveniently forgot was that Hannah threw a glass of wine in my face first, that she screamed at me in front of a packed table, called me a control freak, and told me I'd never be loved because I was too cold. That I still remember standing there dripping red wine. Everyone silent. Not a single person defended me. That I remember walking into the kitchen, picking up the scissors, walking back to her, and cutting 6 inches off the hair she spent years babying. The sound of those blades closing, snip, was the only thing anyone heard for 10 straight seconds. That was my revenge back then. And it worked. Hannah didn't speak to me for months. The peace was glorious. But that night, my own parents kicked me out of the house. The same parents who had invited me in the first place. And now, here we were again. Different battle, same pattern. She pushed, I pushed harder. Then came the message that told me she hadn't learned a single thing. That it was 2:15 a.m. when it came through. Just 2 words. You'll regret this. The last time she said that, my tires were slashed. This time, I was ready. I checked my security cameras. All clear. But I knew her well enough. This wasn't over. She and my parents still had keys to my house. That was about to change too.
BY now. I didn't sleep easily. Not paranoid. Prepared. After Hannah's midnight threat, I knew the countdown had started. She wasn't the type to sit on a threat. She always acted fast, reckless, and loud. So I took the morning off work and headed straight to the hardware store. New locks, reinforced deadbolts, fresh smart cams for the backyard. I even paid extra to have a locksmith come out that same afternoon. By the BY 3 p.m., every lock was changed. It felt symbolic in a way I didn't expect, like I had just sealed off a whole chapter of my life. But I wasn't done, not even close. That evening, I found something unexpected. An envelope jammed into my mailbox. No stamp, my name handwritten across the front. The handwriting was too neat to be Hannah's. I opened it slowly, already bracing for some dramatic plea from my mom. But it wasn't a plea, it was a copy of a letter Hannah had written to our parents. That Hannah's letter was a confession. She'd planned everything. The texts, the meltdown, even ghosting me once she got the car. He's soft, he acts cold, but he's desperate to be liked. He'll cave, he always does. At the bottom, in Jake's handwriting, "You didn't get this from me. I'm tired of watching you take the fall." Any guilt I had vanished. That night, my mom called, leaving a voicemail about an intervention for Hannah. I almost laughed. Then I remembered the spare key in the fake rock. When I checked, it was gone. Security footage showed my dad creeping up at 2:48 a.m., taking it without a word. The next day, I installed an alarm system, changed the Wi-Fi, and started planning. The family barbecue in Uncle Rick's was perfect. I wasn't invited, but he let me come with a warning. No drama. I lied that I showed up late, sunglasses on, grabbed a soda, and sat down like I belonged. Hannah stared daggers. 10 minutes in, the music was playing, everyone pretending things were normal. That's when I made my move. From my backpack, I connected a small Bluetooth speaker. The music cut, then my voice filled the yard. Calm and steady, reading Hannah's letter word for word. He's soft, he acts cold, but he's desperate to be liked. He'll cave, he always does. The yard went silent. Confusion, stares, Jake meeting my eyes. Then the rest played. Every line, every smug little plan. When it ended, I stood up and turned off the speaker. And one said a word. After the recording, my mom asked if it was fake. My dad started to speak, then stopped. And Hannah just walked inside, leaving minutes later without a goodbye. The party never recovered. Jake handed me a beer. Wasn't expecting a speech. I shrugged. Sometimes people need help hearing themselves. That night I got a text from an unknown number. You win this time. No name, but I knew. A few days later, my camera caught someone trying my front door at 1:17 a.m., holding a grocery bag. Hours after my dad texted, I don't want to be in the middle, but she's your sister. I didn't reply. The next morning, I changed everything. Locks, codes, alarms. Then I sent one group text. No one is to enter my property. If you have a key, it's useless. This is not a discussion. Jake replied instantly. Finally. Uncle Dennis sent a thumbs up emoji. His first ever. My parents stayed silent, Hannah too. Only my grandma wrote, I don't understand everything, but I trust you. That one hit me. Months passed. No calls, no visits, no drama. Jake told me Hannah failed 2 credit checks before buying a beat-up hatchback. She named it Karma. I just deleted the photo. I wasn't angry anymore. The locks were changed, the door shut, and for once, it was quiet. The good